Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Andrew and I am the Gearhead Drummer. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when all our newest content comes out. I just woke up, if you can't tell. It's also cold as hell. So let's get in my truck and we'll talk in there because I really don't want to talk outside. Well, let's take this turn out of my neighborhood. I don't know how well you could really tell. My steering wheel is kind of sticking every quarter turn. Again. Well, I had an issue about, I want to say about 8 months ago. I'm probably wrong on that number, but I had an issue this past winter, and I took my truck in for a stalling issue. Because I took my truck in for a stalling issue, I also took it in, or I also happened to mention that my steering was acting funny, and a couple other things were acting funny, but those were all repaired. Those are all easy fixes. I just, because that was there, I asked them to fix it. Well, my power steering is doing it again. Oh, let's see if this guy lets me in. Thank you. Thank you, guy. If you're new to the channel, this is my 2010 F-150 STX pickup truck. I've had it since about April of 2017. I love this truck to death, but it is a Ford. I know it has its issues, but this issue is unacceptable, and it's not exactly the truck's fault. It was the dealership that I took it to. I hate this dealership. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna do anything. I do not like this dealership. I went there for a stalling issue. Like, my truck would shut off on me while I was driving down the freeway. When I was coming to a stop, didn't matter what I was doing, it would just shut off. Sometimes it wouldn't start back up. It would always crank, but it was always some kind of ignition problem. What the issue was there was a fuse box issue, and they had to do a fuse box rebuild because apparently the fuses weren't sitting in the box properly. So they fixed that, supposedly. I haven't had a problem since, but you know, I said that about my power steering when they replaced that too. I ended up taking this truck to the dealership for that stalling issue 3 separate times within like probably a week and a half. Like, I picked it up first day, they said that there was nothing wrong with it, they got it all fixed up, and then like 4 days later it stalled again. I have video of them not being able to start it the second time that I took it to the dealership. Oh no, it didn't just do it. Oh, no. Huh. No. And they said, oh yeah, it's fine. Like, they gave it back to me 4 days later and said they couldn't find an issue. And then on my drive home from the second time picking it up, the truck stalled on me again. They finally figured it out. God, the steering is tight. They figured it out, and what kind of pissed me off that it took them 3 times to figure something like that out. First of all, they didn't even say that they even checked for the issue the very first time I took it in. Now, the part that pissed me off the most, not the fact that, yeah, okay, I get it, you know, sometimes issues like that arise. It's one, they didn't tell me that they didn't even find a problem with stalling. And it wasn't the first time it had stalled on me. The reason why this time I freaked out was because I was driving 75 miles an hour down the freeway. I mean, I was driving 55 down the freeway. Well, my engine shuts off and I'm surrounded by people. It pissed me off that it took them 3 separate times, and after we picked it up the 3rd time, they go, oh yeah, it's a really common issue in 2009 to 14 body style F-150s. If it's such a common issue, why didn't they check for it? Now, the reason why I'm going back to this Ford dealership, well, I called Tom Hohner, the Ford dealership that I actually happen to like, and when I spoke to them, I said, hey, I got a power steering pump replaced on my pickup truck. I got it replaced at a Ford dealer, and it was an OEM part. It's apparently some kind of Ford rule that when you get a part replaced at a dealership, if it's an OEM part replaced at a dealership, you have to take it to that same dealership unless it's outside of a 20-mile range. And Tom Hohner is like one city over, so it's probably like 6 or 7 miles away from Avis Ford. So it sucks. I have to go back to Avis Ford. Now, when I called up Avis Ford, I wanted to confirm that I have a warranty on it and such and such. But when I called them, they said, oh, we replaced it with an aftermarket steering pump. Excuse me? An aftermarket steering pump? They did not tell me that they put an aftermarket steering pump in here. I would have obviously wanted to put an OEM steering pump because they are the best power steering pump made for the vehicle. If, you know, some other company happens to make the power steering pump, it wasn't Ford, it wasn't a Motorcraft part, it was, let's say, a Bosch part. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to pretend like I know, but let's just say it was like a Bosch part or some other third-party company that made the power steering pump for this vehicle, but that's the one that Ford chose to put in these cars, then I want that power steering pump put on this car. When I spoke to my service advisor, because I have to also deal with the exact same service advisor, which he was a hassle and a half as well, because I could never contact him, and whenever I told him, hey, don't contact me between these times, I'm in class, that's whenever he would call. It was impossible to speak with him. It's bad business. I do not like that dealership. I know this is just a big old rant, but that's what this is. If they would not have put that aftermarket pump in my truck, if they would have actually contacted me, and if they would have, you know, looked through common issues of this body style truck and seen, maybe this is, you know, something we should check. Let's look into it. And if it's not that, well, then we can rule that out. Well, it was exactly that. They didn't rule it out, and it's a common issue. But it's really bad business. I know this is just a rant video. It is, because I'm really upset because I don't like parting with this truck. It is my only vehicle. It's my daily driver. It's a really fun truck to have, and it's just, I hate that dealership. And I can't, I'm so mad I can't take it to the other dealership. Like I said, they put an aftermarket power steering pump, and the reason why was because the OEM one was on back order. Now, if they would have told me that, I would have asked them how long of a back order, because I get, you know, sometimes they can tell how long the back order is. But I get, you know, if it would have been a really long time, I would have throw the aftermarket power steering pump in. What's the warranty on the pump, and, you know, this and that. Well, he didn't tell me any of that. They just threw it in without saying anything, and I find out it's a 90-day warranty. Well, that's not happening. It's been 8 months, and it was installed by a Ford dealership. That's not happening because they didn't tell me about this power steering pump being bad. I probably would have done this power steering pump myself, or had me and like Greg or something do the power steering pump, or I've got a few other friends who are mechanics that would help me do this stuff. But I already was taking it in for an issue that I don't want to say I didn't trust them to solve, but it's that it's a stalling issue. It's really hard to tell whether it's electrical, it's mechanical. You don't really know what the failure is. So I wanted to take that to a Ford dealership where they had all the tools and all the fancy equipment to really be able to tell, oh, stalling issue, it's this. Because my friend Connor, he started telling me it was a fuel sending issue, and that he's experienced that on his old Ford pickup, and that he replaced the fuel pump module. Great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying that it's a fuel pump issue or a fuel pump module issue, except for it wasn't. And Connor couldn't really have known that because he wasn't really, he didn't have the vehicle in front of him, and you can't diagnose a car over the phone. So I really do appreciate that Connor wanted to help, but I mean, it was plain and simple, he was wrong, and stuff like that happens. People are wrong all the time. I have no problem with them being wrong, but bad business I have a problem with, and I don't want to give bad business more business, but I sadly have to. If it's not the power steering pump, I'm going to be pissed, because that means either A, the dealership had misdiagnosed it, which again, poor dealership quality, or it had, I said A, one, or two, something else had actually broken, which in both situations, I have to pay for something, and I really don't want to give that dealership money. I'm not happy that I'm going to that dealership. So I will see you guys at the dealership. All right, here we are pulling into the dealership. Man, oh God, my steering is completely awful. So I will see you, well, when I find out what's happening with the truck. So that concludes my truck being dropped off at the dealership. So I'll give you guys an update of what's happening when I leave the dealership. All right, so Avis Ford provided a shuttle for me. Shuttle driver right here was nice enough to drive me to work because I got to go to work now. I didn't see my truck in the back, which sucks. I also missed them starting it, but I heard it when I was waiting in the waiting room, and it is loud, and I enjoy loud. Guys, if you liked the video, it's actually a really nice vehicle. Oh yeah. What does it say? Transit van? It's pretty nice. We got a Ford Raptor back there. I like Raptors. Yeah, I don't know. My truck's somewhere in service. So guys, if you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when my newest content comes out. Make sure to share the video, and guys, I will see you guys next time.